Thanks for joining us for the Carolina Justice Report today. I'm Rainee Romero with a lovely law firm, here with attorneys Amy Lawrence, Justin Lovely, and Sarah Austin. Today we're talking about motorcycle everything. Stay tuned. So I love this. Riding season is coming up because the weather's getting nice. We're a big biker area, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So we've got Bike Week coming up. Justin, I know you've been heavily involved in this in past years. Tell us, what can we look forward to?
Yeah, so it's warm. The bikes are back out on the road. We've got Bike Week coming up. We're going to be at the Beaver Bar this year. We've always historically been at Beaver Bar in Harley. This year we're focusing all our attention on the Beaver Bar location. We will be there Friday to set up, I think the day before, no, Thursday to set up, right?
Right,
and then we'll be there the whole 10-day rally. We think it's going to be huge. We'll be there giving out swag, talking to everybody, meeting old friends, meeting some new friends, and we're pumped.
Yeah.
COVID is over and we're ready to rock and roll.
Well, I'm pretty excited because this is my first, I'm born and raised here, but I have always been a hermit during Bike Week. So this is my first
you're missing
biker
out.
experience.
You're gonna love it.
So I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, it's fun. And it's 10 days. The first weekend, the last weekend, they're probably the bigger days. But, I mean, it's a vacation for a lot of people. And there's action going on. There's live music at night. There's activities during the day. Of course, there's long rides during the week. And we're going to be a part of all of it.
Yeah, yeah. And you're giving out all sorts of fun little gifts and tchotchkes at the booth, right?
Yep. We always try to supply everybody. And just to say thanks for everybody, we're giving away a motorcycle again through NAML. Well, we're giving this year we're doing $20,000 towards the bike of your choice. So sign up for that. We've done that for the last 3 years. Nobody from Myrtle Beach has won yet, so we need to get a winner from
Step it
everybody.
up.
We had a biker from Wilmington win it, and he thought it was a scam. We even hired an attorney in Wilmington to try to get him to take the bike, and he wouldn't take the bike because he kept thinking it was a scam. So we ended up having to draw another name.
Yeah,
so
he forgot he signed up.
yeah,
That's so funny.
if you sign up, please take our phone calls. We want to give you that money towards the bike.
Yeah.
So that'll pull in October. So we'll be at the booth signing all that up. And yeah, we give out swag. We've got some souvenirs specifically made for this rally swag there. So be sure to stop by, and we'll be giving out to everybody who says hello.
I think this year we've got the coolest stuff we've had so far.
I try to improve every year.
Yeah, it's getting better. It's going to be good
What
this year.
bikers really want. So, if you're a biker, you tell us what you want, right?
Yeah.
So, but there's lots of bike events that go on throughout the year. I mean, I know that Bike Week is kind of the big thing, but, we have a lot of different events that we have booths that we help out that raise funds for different organizations, right? Those are all throughout the year.
Yeah, so we like to give back to the riding community and help when they're raising money for. So, for instance, we're doing the Oregon County Disability Ride. We're going to sponsor that. We'll help out in any organization that reaches out to us. So that's the way we want to give back, through the Myrtle Beach Biker Lawyer brand. So, of course, we'll be out there. And whether that's us if we set up a booth, you want us to do that, that's great. If you want us just to participate and say hello at the sign up and registration, that's great. Or sponsor a stop if it's a poker run. Anything at all, we help out all different organizations.
Yeah, we've got one for the Shriners coming up. They're doing a poker run that we're helping sponsor. So I know your dad's a Shriner.
Oh, yeah.
So that's cool.
Yep.
Now, also, talking about different events that kind of we help sponsor throughout the year, you also are big on the ASM, right? Yes, classes. What are those?
So these accident scene management classes that we've been teaching, we've been doing it for 2 years now, and COVID really threw a wrench in it because it was hard to get everybody down here. And then it was hard to get an instructor to help us teach these things. So we finally got 2 instructors, local riders, the smart spouses. They're going to help us teach these things. They've
awesome.
already helped us teach them. They're former EMTs. His wife's a nurse. But these classes are accident scene management, and we want to train and prepare new riders and old riders alike to be able to help their fellow riders in the event that they fall on the bike and something happens to them catastrophically before an EMT or ambulance or anybody else can get to them, because bad things happen. Either it could be a head injury, it can be a deep laceration, it could be an amputation. I mean, unfortunately, those are the tough accidents or injuries that happen. And if you're trained to stop those with a tourniquet or take the helmet off, jaw thrust procedure, those things are trained in the ASM classes.
Right.
Everybody's certified, and
This
you can save
isn't
a
just
life.
a first aid class by any sense of the imagination. We're teaching, and we've been through it, and they do teach you CPR and all that stuff, but you're also getting, like he said, how to take off a helmet properly, how to do a tourniquet, because it's those actions in the moment that will save a life or a limb.
Yeah, those minutes before the EMS arrives, or even the helicopter in motorcycle accident cases where no one is there but your fellow riders, are sometimes the most critical. You know, it's the difference between you're going to walk away from this one day and you're not. So it's
It matters.
And so we want a goal. We want every rider in Myrtle Beach and Charleston to be trained. Okay, that's our lofty goal. Every one of them.
And we do these classes for free.
Yeah, they're sponsored. We come in. We have breakfast for everybody. They do the class. It's an all-day class, so they'll have the class. We have lunch for you, so lunch comes in, and we'll do them. We open them up to riders, any kind of rider, or if you have an MC and you want a specialized class, I got no problem doing that as well to keep your group together. But we want to train as many people as want to come, and hopefully I'm doing these every weekend.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm open to do that as long as we can fill the classes.
Yeah. And this stems from, you know, obviously your deep care for the community, and you're both riders. You've been riding since you were kids, right? Which I think is, you know, a big part of connecting the dots with why this matters so much to you. But also, you know, you see the cases that come in, right, from these motorcycle accidents. And so this is kind of a way to help prevent some of these, really.
Yeah.
Right. So we want to prevent it, and we also want to teach riders and bikers about not only the safety aspect, but teach them about insurance. Okay, so they're protected, and that's part of what we do during the lunch hour. You know, we're providing you lunch. That's when Amy and I, or Sarah, or another one of our associates are sitting there, and we're educating them as well.
And insurance doesn't seem as sexy, right, as, you know, how to do a tourniquet with your shirt or your belt or whatever. But it's so important, because when we see these accidents, as a matter of fact, we had one just in our office this past week, where they didn't have any underinsured insurance, or they didn't have enough. And so we had a client lose a limb, and, you know, he's disabled and he's forever changed, and his family and their dynamics and their financial situation is forever changed. And we can if there's only so much insurance to get, then we're stuck with that number. And so we go in and we talk about this insurance. What we're saying is like, you need to up your UIM policy to as much as you can afford. And a lot of times, and we see this every time we talk to groups, is, oh, I have full coverage. And they think that they have all this coverage, and they don't. And usually either they don't have UIM at all, or UM, or they just have the minimum. They have 25,000. Well, when, you know, you don't have a leg or an arm, and you can't work every day and provide for your family, that $25,000 doesn't go very far. And you still have to talk. Yeah, it doesn't even, your ER bill. Exactly. So we go in, and when they see that, their minds are blown. And before they've gotten done eating their lunch, they've got on the phone to Geico, Progressive, whoever they use, and they're upping those policies and getting those UM and UIM policies.
Yeah, and it's a good chance for us too, because we can go to those classes and we can, you know, people can pull up their insurance policies on their phone, and I can tell them, you know, what does this mean? What does this mean? Are you covered? And, you know, we can change it right there on the app to make sure they're protected. Because a lot of times, and that's a hard conversation to have too, they're like, well, someone else, those cars hit me, they pulled out in front of me, they should pay for it. It should be their insurance company. But you can't count on them to have enough insurance to take care of you. Just like you can't count on them not to pull out in front of you. You know, you do all that defensive driving, and then insurance is part of that. You want to be able to protect yourself and your family.
Yeah, that's a good point, though, because I do think that a lot of us just rely on other people's insurance, and we assume, like, if they're at fault, then they pay, but we don't even think about our own, of what's covering us on our own insurance. Right. So, yeah.
I mean, the average person in South Carolina has the state minimum coverage, which is $25,000 to one person, and $50,000 combined. So if there's more than, you know, one person in an accident, the most anybody can get is 25, and then the most everybody can get is 50 total. So, I mean, like Sarah said, that doesn't even cover your emergency room bill.
Yeah.
Especially not on a motorcycle, because you're going
These
most likely
catastrophic
to the trauma unit when
Yeah.
you're on a motorcycle.
Which is another thing people don't think about, because in one regard, you're thinking, okay, I'm going to get $25,000, so, like, that's still something. But you're like, well, no, not after you take everything out that you owe.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
or consider the future. You know, what does your life look like? It's not just those bills, but it's after that. Did you have surgery? Do you need physical therapy?
You were out of work. You continue.
Or
can't do
are
the
you
job that
permanently
had
disabled
before.
forever?
Right.
It's not enough.
So I have my first ASM class coming up, so I can't speak on it yet, but I know all three of you have been involved. What is the feedback that you get from those?
Oh, they
love it.
They love it.
I've never had anyone regret it.
Matter of fact, we had a police officer that we're friends with come and take it. We didn't know until afterwards, and he said, Amy, he'd been in an accident, a motorcycle accident. He said it was, you know, the most eye-opening, most rewarding class I've ever taken, because I could have died and had people not been there who knew what they were doing, had taken this class before, I probably wouldn't have been in the best, the situation that I am, where I'm walking and be able to work. And so to him to be able to ride and have the knowledge to be able to help somebody was like invaluable.
Yeah.
And it's hands-on. It's not like we're sitting here and it's just theory and it's boring class. I
Right.
mean, it's hands-on. We're on the ground. You're going to put a helmet on and learn how to take a helmet off.
huge
Everybody's going to get a chance.
Body dummies.
We're going to learn all those different things.
Wow.
And the day goes by very, very quickly.
Well, and that's something really, for something else you would spend a lot of money to take. And here you are sponsoring this for them to take for free. So, I mean, really, it's something everybody should definitely do.
Yeah, and we partnered with Road Guardians, Vicky up in Wisconsin, and she's who started the Road Guardians and these whole ASM classes for years now. And we're the exclusive person from Myrtle Beach and Charleston to be able to teach these, and we're glad to do it. And again, we want to teach everybody.
Yeah.
Now, in regards to the insurance, if you don't want to take the class, you just want to say, hey, am I covered? Am I exposed?
We'll do that,
We
too.
do free insurance policy reviews. You can call me anytime, me, Amy,
If you're out riding
Sarah,
by our
anybody.
office, we're
Yeah.
right off Lennon Street.
We'll
which is
take a look at it,
South
and
Crescent,
I can tell you if you're exposed or not. Because again, like you said, or like she said, there's this full coverage myth, and it's truly a myth the insurance industry has put on everybody just to sell insurance. And if you're exposed and you do fall or you get in a catastrophic injury, as Sarah said, you're going to be limited to the insurance. That's it. You can't get blood out of a turnip.
You can't count on somebody else.
Yeah.
Somebody else's policy, because it's just not going to be
Right.
it's not always what you think it is.
Yeah, those are good tips. Well, let's talk about, single rider versus double rider. Are there different rules that apply to those kinds of motorcycle accidents?
Well, here's what you need to worry about. And a lot of riders, especially their family members, these cases involve death cases. Okay, a lot of them we see, and they'll lose hope and think, well, he just lost control of his motorcycle. Maybe that's what the highway patrol writes on their report. Okay, but there's two areas of the law that we've been investigating, and one is a faulty helmet. Okay, so did the deceased die as a result of a head injury, and can we secure that helmet and maybe pursue a product liability case against the helmet? The second thing that we're looking at is with this construction boom that's going on, especially down here at the coast, is these road contractors are building asphalt roads, widening roads, repaving roads as fast as possible, okay? And there could be ruts in the road. We call those longitudinal joints, okay? Which are fine if you're in a car. You go over, you don't even feel it. But if you're on a motorcycle and you hit a rut that's not supposed to be there or is not properly warned of, I mean, you could lose control of your motorcycle and you're done. You're toast. You're laying the bike down. And so we're looking at, and then there's a potential case against the DOT, potential case against the construction companies. So don't give up if it's a single motorcycle crash. Obviously, if there's another at-fault party, we'll do an investigation and pursue against the at-fault party. But these single wrecks or single motorcycles are what we're looking into.
Okay.
We also see times where we'll have you'll see this wreck and the rider has been hurt terribly and is ventilated, things like that. And it'll come to light when they come to weeks later that they were actually hit by another vehicle and it was a hit and run. So, these are the kind of things that we're constantly thinking about, that other attorneys who don't do these kind of motorcycle accidents, we're always thinking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we got to get our investigator, boots on the ground immediately,
Yeah.
try to gather surveillance video, try to find any witnesses that we can to prove our case, to prove that hit and run.
Because memories fade, and we try to preserve, like if we know that witnesses are there, we go hunt them down, our investigators get out there and preserve, their statements and get them recorded. That way, time fades, memories fade, and people move. And so we've got to secure all that stuff as quickly as possible.
Yeah. So, I always like to kind of get your advice and tips for people. So what would you say is some advice for motorcycle riders if they get in an accident or maybe preventative, anything like that?
Well, what I would say is, if you can, take as many pictures as possible, okay? And if you're unconscious, you can't do that, but take as many pictures as possible of the scene, of your helmet. Keep your helmet, keep your clothes, keep it all so we can preserve that evidence. Don't give a statement to the at-fault insurance company. They're going to be trying to lock you down to be used against you later. And at that time, you don't know the full extent. Your adrenaline's still pumping. You don't know your full extent of the injuries. We've had several cases where, they call us a week later. That's when they realize, oh my God, I got a slip disc in my neck. Well, they're just now, the whiplash and the inflammation's wearing down to get a proper X-ray and MRI to even diagnose things. Now, if you go to call the insurance company and give a statement, say, oh, I'm fine, or I got a little soreness, well, that's what they're going to use against you through the whole lit. It's going to be really hard to settle your case.
And if you're riding with somebody that's been in an accident, start documenting it for them. You know,
Right.
take pictures. We actually have a client that we are friends with, and we always drive. You know, we're always driving home, get pictures of everything. He got into a really horrific motorcycle accident, and he, in the shock of everything, his foot is only hanging on by an Achilles tendon, and he grabs his phone and says, "I've got to get a picture of it." Just until we get a picture of it, takes a picture of his leg before he goes unconscious.
Oh my gosh.
It is a
We've seen all kinds of
horrific
crazy
picture,
stuff.
but yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
So definitely document everything that you possibly can, and if you're with somebody, get that documented for them.
And increase your underinsured motorist coverage on your policy. That's probably the best thing you can do for you and your family. And I have this conversation all the time because people are like, well, I don't want my rates to go up. They look at insurance as like it's almost like a tax, like you're getting punished and you have to have it. But really, it's a service, and you've got to do yourself the service and increase that, especially if you're riding a motorcycle, because $25,000, the state minimums is not going to be enough. Even sometimes $100,000 isn't going to be enough. So protect yourself.
Yeah.
As much as you can afford, put it on there.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't look at it as a punishment. Look at it as a protection that you have for yourself.
And your family, yeah.
Yeah, man, so much good information. Well, thank you guys all for talking about this. Of course, you guys can find more on the website, Justice is Lovely. Also, there is another Carolina Justice Report story all about motorcycles, some tips as far as not driving alone, right? So Amy
Always
talks
ride
about
the pack.
that. Also, some maybe juror bias. I know Justin has spoken about that with motorcycles as well. So you can check that other story out on YouTube. You can also find us on other social media outlets, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all that good stuff. We would love to hear from you as well. Thanks for watching today.
When life gets ugly, justice is love.